Hey guys, Brother Sam here. Looks like we're live. Got to do this live except I pre-recorded. It might get taken down. As what happened with the last video. The message I got was that it was hate speech, but I was telling everybody to look out for each other, not believe the hype, because the hype is trying to get the hype that they're putting out there is to get everybody at each other's throats, and I don't want that. So I don't think that's hateful at all. These riots that are going on, they're very well organized. These people appear to be well supplied. Uh, they have military grade radios, which are very expensive, and apparently repeaters on their vehicles. Somebody's paying for all this. Now, we've just been through a couple months of lockdown. I'm up here stuck in Canada, but you get the picture. The country's been in lockdown for a couple months. People have lost their jobs. A lot of people are broke. Where did these guys get this money? Somebody's funding this. YouTube, I hope you don't think this is hate speech. I'm not hating on anybody here. I'm saying I'm making an observation of what is going on. That this appears to be very, very organized. They are well supplied, and they even have a couple of phone numbers to call to be bailed out. What is going on? That's not a normal riot. A typical riot doesn't last very long for the most part, and real riots tend to be comprised of local people. And the pattern that's emerging in every city is that these people are not local. Even the people who are local are saying these people don't know their way around. They're not from there. They're being flown in, which would mean that the TSA should have the identities of everybody who flew into these cities in the last few days. And so I wonder how this is going to play out. Like I said, it's not hating on anybody. I do want justice to be done. These people do need to be arrested. They do need to be charged, not just with rioting. The fact that that it is so organized. This is not merely rioting. This is terrorism. This is terrorism, and we need to know. We need to find out who's behind it, and it needs to be dealt with as such. I'm not speaking that out of hatred for the rioters, which the media and maybe even YouTube is probably going to call them protesters. They're not protesters. I mean, my goodness, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter were taking down people's posts if they were trying to organize protests over the lockdowns. Peaceful things where people just hold up signs and saying, hey, this is not fair. Arresting people for going to church, they beat the tar out of a guy in New York for not social distancing. And the guy that tried to record it, they beat him up too. But all of a sudden, we're just letting people run buck wild. And apparently, the cure for the coronavirus is rioting. Because suddenly, social distancing don't matter anymore. They'll arrest you if you want to go to church, but if you want to get 1,000 people together and burn down the city, they don't care. This is terrorism. And I am hoping that our commander-in-chief handles it as such. But for the rest of you out there, what you got to understand is you're witnessing the Democrats' vision for America. Each one of the cities that this is happening in has a Democrat mayor. They are refusing to uphold the law. They are refusing to restore order. They're refusing to do really much of anything, which makes them complicit. Please remember this on Election Day for your own sake, because I wouldn't live in one of those cities anyway. But there are those of you out there who do. And I know it's mostly not local people involved in this. I know you guys are not out there wanting to burn down your own neighborhoods, because that doesn't make any rational sense. And I refuse to believe the narrative that that the local people are a bunch of mindless savages. I don't think so. That would be hateful, YouTube. I am saying that's not true. I am saying somebody or somebody else is behind this. This is a coordinated mass terrorist attack. Everybody be safe. Look out for each other. And my goodness. Come November, you better not vote Democrat. Look at what they're doing. Your Democrat mayors and your Democrat governors they finally have told you the truth. And that is that they will not protect you. They will let people burn your business down. And it's not black people rioting. There's some black people. There appears to be people of all colors because it's Antifa and certain other groups. There were some people who were trying to protest peacefully, but then these guys came in and started all this chaos. And like I said, it's highly organized. There is no way that you're going to have this many people in this many cities, this organized, with hotlines that they can call to get bailed out. And who in the world is granting these people bail? What sane judge is going to grant bail to people who are just burning a city down? That's a terrorist act. That's not merely mayhem and rioting and disorderly conduct. And in some places, apparently, they were lighting buildings on fire that still had people in them. That's attempted murder. And this whole thing stinks from the get-go. There's a lot that doesn't make any sense. And you can check out my Facebook, Samuel Medina. You'll see a picture there of Derek Chauvin, and then another picture of mugshot. The man in the mugshot has a wider, shorter skull. It's not him. He goes from having a long face and looking like he's clearly in his 40s to looking like a guy in his 30s with a different shaped head. To some extent, it looks like almost this whole thing was planned. Watch your back, everybody. Watch out for each other. And for the love of God, don't buy into this nonsense that they're using to divide us. Don't buy into it. Because rioting is not going to make anything better. You want to make things better? Run for office. Get together with your neighbors. Figure out which one of you really has a passion for change and an ability to lead. Try to put that guy in office. Put that guy in the city council. Put him on the board of education. Put him on the planning board. Put him in the mayor's office. That's how you achieve change. You don't achieve change even by protesting. You don't. That's how you're holding up signs, hoping that the people who screwed you over, or you think screwed you over, and they may very well have screwed you over, that they're suddenly going to see reason because you're holding up a sign. That's not necessarily true. And they're certainly not going to hold up. They're not going to see reason because you're burning stuff down. It's not even a matter of voting them out. Become the leaders that you need. Pick people from among your neighbors, among your friends and acquaintances, your networks, to put in office. That way you're putting people in office who already know the issues, who are already listening, who already want change, who are already committed to change because they want you. Not one of these Democrats that are just going to pander to you, tell you what you want to hear, and they're going to do the same thing. Have you noticed that the vast majority of all this police brutality happens in places run by Democrats, and there's zero accountability? Years ago, Amy Klobuchar, when she was a prosecutor, could have gotten this cop locked up for some brutality she refused to prosecute. And you guys went ahead and made her a senator. Does that make sense? If we want to see change, we're not going to do it by protesting. We're not going to do it by rioting. That neither one of those things is really the answer. The answer is we need to become the change. We need to become the leaders that we need. We need to run for office. I can get this place old and get back to the U.S. next election season. I think I'm gonna run for Congress. I may not win. We'll see. If I can't do that, whatever town I'm in, I'm running for mayor. I don't care that I'm unknown. I will underscore all this drama and nonsense that was allowed. No. Put me in some mayor's office. We're not having this. There are ways to stop a riot. And they know how to do it because they use those methods when you want to go to church. They send the stormtroopers, man. They send the SWAT team for you going to church. So, and while this has been going on, the Supreme Court just made a decision that California, and therefore everybody else, can tell you you can't go to church and can put restrictions on not only when you can go to church, but what you can do when you're there. So California can now say, okay, you can go to church, but it can't be more than 10 people and you can't sing. Did you know that on a physiological level, not just a spiritual level, it is actually good for your health to sing in groups? That's been proven. Strengthens your immune system, among other things. It's also good for your mental health and your spiritual health. Supreme Court just said the government can tell you not to go to church. We have just watched the Supreme Court kill the First Amendment. They don't want you to go to church. We're going to let these people do what they want. We're not going to change anything rioting. We're not going to. And don't believe the narrative. Don't believe the narrative that they're trying to feed you. Because it's not local people doing this. These are people being flown in and bussed in from out of town. And they're being paid. Just a few days ago, there was an ad looking for crisis actors in Minneapolis. Do you really think that's a coincidence? How many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? Yeah, that seemed like a setup, because it was a black cop that arrested him and handcuffed him, and then they go across the street and switch to the white cop for the kill. That don't make any sense. And in that city, putting your knee on their neck, deliberately on their artery, is acceptable. It's legal in Minneapolis to do that. So he technically didn't even break the law with what he did. Doesn't mean it was right, because legality does not equal morality. So the Democrat leadership of that city made it legal for that officer to kneel on a man's neck. Does that seem right to you? You're not going to change that petitioning. You're not going to change that holding up signs. You're sure as hell not going to change it burning stuff down. The only way you're going to change that is you need to become the leaders that you need. That we need to end all this social distancing nonsense, because that's about creating distance between you and me, so that we don't relate to each other, so that we don't understand each other. See, if we become socially distant, we become emotionally distant. If we didn't care about each other before, we will care about each other less. It's about keeping us divided. Don't fall for it. My goodness, may as well have some barbecues right now. They sure are enforcing social distancing on these yahoos. But start having discussions with your neighbors, with your friends, your contact, your networks. And figure out who needs to be in charge. Figure out who needs to be the leader. Figure out who you need to put in office instead of these career politicians who, quite frankly, don't give a crap about you. They don't. I think we can very conclusively say that they have proven that beyond any level of doubt. At least in the cities where this is happening. They've proven that pretty conclusively. So guys, don't believe the hype. let's remember that in America, most of us are not a bunch of racists. Because if that were true, we'd have a lot more problems on our hands. So don't believe the hype, and look out for each other. And when this is all over, we need to start organizing and figure out how to get these people out of office and put people who share our values. And it's not even anything, these aren't crazy values. These are the values of peace and love and safety and civil order, due process, justice. Personally, I think if a cop wrongfully kills somebody, should be made an example of. Whatever sentence there is for it should be maximized. Maximum penalties. Yeah, out here, I gotta be careful what I say because YouTube will delete my channel. But our testing centers don't even have staff. They never did. Yeah, supposedly 25 cases in this town, and nobody knows anybody who's got it. And this is a very small town. It's 12,000 people here. And I got a buddy here who everybody knows this guy. You mention his name, oh yeah, I know him. He's a real character. Just about the whole town knows him. He doesn't know anybody who got sick with this thing. Which is odd. You'd think if there were 25 people who had it in a town of 12,000, he would know somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody because he knows thousands of people. But looks like COVID-19 failed to destroy America, and this is the next attempt. Because part of the agenda appears to be to destroy the businesses that somehow managed to survive the lockdown. Yeah, wearing gloves actually makes it worse. Because doctors will wear gloves to avoid cross-contamination. They put on gloves, they draw your blood, and then they take the gloves off to deal with the next guy. They're not keeping on the same pair of gloves and touching everything. That is actually going to spread germs more. But you can't even say that, even though that's a medical fact. I'm not actually taking a risk of having my channel deleted. Not that it's a big channel, but yeah, we're lied to on so many levels. Now, I got doubts about every step of this whole scenario. One thing I know for sure is that these riots are organized. They're definitely organized. This is outright terrorism, and we need to keep the president in prayer because they'd love to kill him. And yeah. Oh yeah, the delete comments. I actually lost a Twitter account with two Twitter accounts, one 60,000 followers, one with about 24,000 followers. That was during the election cycle because if you were conservative and saying things they didn't like and too many people were listening to you, you had to go. They didn't even tell me why. They said you violated the Twitter rules, which the Twitter rules appear to be very arbitrary because they don't censor child pornography. They don't. There's certain long string hashtags that will direct you to child porn websites. And Twitter knows that those hashtags exist, and they don't do anything about it. I do wonder what's going to happen with that because technically under that executive order that Trump signed early in his presidency, he could actually seize Twitter because they've been complicit with child sex trafficking. And we'll see what happens. And meanwhile, folks, let's not believe the hype because we're being lied to. I refuse to believe that we're a nation of hateful racists because if that were the case, we'd have a whole lot of racial violence. Because there was a time when there was more racism in America and there was more violence. I mean, let's think of it rationally. What happens when there's a natural disaster? We all come together and we help each other, and nobody gives a crap what color your skin is. Just understand, people don't even care what language you speak. They're gonna help you. So no, we're not a nation of racists, and I don't think it's local people doing this to their own neighborhoods. That doesn't. I refuse to believe that these communities are that crazy. So so YouTube, that is not hateful at all. I'm speaking very well of my fellow citizens. I refuse to believe the hype. So let's continue to look out for each other, stay safe, and meanwhile, God bless you and God keep you. Where we go on, we go all.